Hello guys and welcome to Master Coding channel. In this tutorial we are going to learn how to make an app that works with data binding and see how Android architecture component Android data binding will be enlisted and implemented in our apps. So before we start, please like our videos and rate us 5 stars on Udemy and our applications Android, Master Android and Master Android Pro on Play Store. And please subscribe below to get the latest tutorials if you want to learn Android and other coding tutorials. So let's begin making our application. First, go to Android Studio and create a new project, an activity, and rename it as data binding. Now, click Finish and wait for configuration to be finished. Please, if you want these tutorials, written tutorials, please download Master Android and Master Android Pro application from Play Store. Now, let's add, first of all, the dependency. As I told you in the lesson, previously, that data binding, in order to add data binding in Android, we go to the build.gradle at the level of application, and we add this code, data binding enabled equal true. Now let's sync, and configuration successful in 1 second. Everything is good. Okay. And let's move to the main activity. So I will write the steps here. So in order to if you want to download the source code, you can from the comments below and the description below. So I will add these steps to follow them and to know what are the steps exactly, because they are confusing. First step, adding the dependency as we have seen, and the second step is creating the layout. So data binding, as I told you, is the configuration that help us to get rid from find view by ID and the traditional configuration and declaration of widgets. So the text view in this, a very important note, in order to add or in order to use the data binding in a layout, you should mandatory to include all your widgets and all your layout in a layout tag. So data binding will not work if you don't add the layout tag or include your whole layout inside the layout tag. I will show you how to make this. Okay, so I intentionally add the comments to show you, if you wanted to the source code, to know every step you do or you did in the previous codes, even if you need to make a new updates for your code, to know what really was were you doing. I included the layout here and the layout tag. Okay, and I will add some attributes here. Adding data binding annotation or variable data variables. If you have any questions or if you don't understand, please comment this in the questions or the comments, and we will reply as soon as possible. Our job is to help you learn Android, because we have learned Android and we have tried and have many difficulties in learning Android previously. We need to make Android learning easier and available for everyone freely without paying any money. So if you want to subscribe or to get the source codes, you can go to the Udemy and get them. The link is below. Okay, what are the variables? The variables here are using the grader, which is the type, the package, and dot grader. And the second variable is called presenter, which is the type, the second variable. Now, I will rename the first variable as student data and the second variable as main activity presenter. So these data will get, these variables get their data from the classes that we are going to create in the next couple of minutes. Now, don't be confused. We are creating the layout with data binding configuration, and step 3, we are going to create the views and the widget that use this data binding activity, assigning the variables to the widgets. It's very important step. So get close look. Start making the variables, and let's now create the widgets and assign them to these variables. So I will create linear layout, assigning the width and the height as match parent for the first, and the second also match parent. In the next videos, we are going to copy and paste the layout files, and because in order to save the time, because our main goal is to learn how the Java code will interact with the architecture components and how to use them in the Java codes. So till now, you can make some practice for the layouts by creating the new linear layout. And maybe sometimes Android Studio have some vulnerabilities and some bugs that will show you an error, and there is actually no errors. I'm creating a text view, match parent, and wrap content. Layout activity, center, gravity. If you want to learn about layouts, go back to the course and search about the layouts, or download Master Android and Master Android Pro applications from Play Store and get their all written stuff for free. Okay. Text view, we are going to create. Here we add the data binding variables or data. Now we add the symbols. Here we add the data binding symbols to connect the text views with the data binding. So in this configuration, or this way, we are going to manipulate and assign and bind the views with the text view with the Java code. So till now we are doing very well. Let's go here, and as I told you, there is some bugs. I will go and remove this. Android, okay, oops, Android Studio is not responding normally. Maybe from the comment, let's see. Okay, despite I'm using 3.6, Android Studio 3.6.2, but there is still an errors or bugs. Okay, don't worry guys, I will configure that by copying and pasting this above. Oh my god, what's happening? Okay, I will ignore that and I will remove this, okay, from the comments. And the text view will have the text as data binding, Android, annotation would be at equal between the two braces, curly braces. We are assigning the class and dot student. So if you have a small knowledge about CSS, in this way we are making the selectors. So it's very similar to CSS. You are specifying the selector, the class of the selector, and specifying the name of the variable. So here we are making or selecting the grader class and the student variable. So we assign the text to get it from the class that we are going to create in the next couple of minutes. I will create now another text view that uses the same way, or it text in the same way, by assigning the data binding variables. So here the text view will take the data, or what will show in the text view would be taken from the Gradle.student. In this way, we are going to specify how to bind the data with the widgets. Now, in the same way, the second text view will be added at equal curly braces, specify the class, and specify the variable or the data variable. Okay, it's very simple. In this way, we are going to use and create an app that uses data binding. So it's very important to know this very important step in this way. So the text size will be 24 SP and text style would be bold. Okay, everything's working fine. Now let's create the classes, and before we move to the Java code, we are going to create a button. And specifying some attributes for it. And specifying the onClick method in the same way. So when the user click the button, we are going to specify in this way. The method would be presenter dot on show data. Okay, so in this way we are passing the grader as and show data. Now everything's fine. Let's move to the to add some other attributes as an ID and maybe we need some we don't need I think it is very simple now to okay, we are going to add another edit text in order to allow the user to enter the data and show exactly and instantaneously and the same time the typed text will appear in the text view instantly. So edit text in the same way we are going to define and to create the data binding annotations and binding symbols in the same way as previously shown. Now grader dot grade, these are our classes that we are going to create as I told you. Guys, if you need to learn Android and other coding tutorials, and we are making new tutorials and making new courses free, and you need all the stuff and source codes, please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Master Coding and download Master Android Pro, and you can follow us on Udemy by subscribing and pushing us forward to create more and more tutorials and more source codes freely by subscribing to our channel, Udemy, and Play Store applications. Okay, in this way we are finished by the XML file. So we have learned in this way how to add the text or how to bind the widgets for our main for our data binding applications. So this is final let's add some configuration, some styling for our application to look it's very impressive. I'm just kidding, just for making it like alive. So let's see how to add some colors and some styles, some symbols, some stuff that would be very good to be displayed. Okay, and maybe this color is very good. And okay, this color is good. So we have created two text views, one edit text and one button, and we assign the variables to the widgets in the same way using the data binding annotation by creating at equal and specify in the side the curly braces which class and which attributes we are using which is named as selectors. So in this way we are selecting, we are specifying which widget we are going to use. Now let's move and create the model class. The model class that we are going to create is called the student data, and we see them in the layout. So go back to the student layout, the layout file, and you see that we have used the student data class. I will create a student data and create the variables, then the constructors, and pass getters and setters. Okay. Public class, student name, student data, and extends base observable. Okay. Private string student. This is the first variable. The second variable would be private string grade, and the widgets, or sorry, the constructor student data, passing the two arguments, and getters and setters. So I advise you to practice with me, pause the videos, and type your codes inside the Android Studio in your PC, and you try it with your hand, because in this way we have learned, and we are advising people to learn with trying to type every single code and by themselves. Now, I'm specifying for the getters method as a bindable. So what this means that we have binding this method with annotation binding. So the Android Studio will inform that we are using the methods as the data binding for data binding purposes. And the setters, we are going to notify the changes, notify property changed, and I will pass the BR the student. Okay. The same way I'm going to specify the set grade in the same way, but despite I'm going to pass the grade variable. Okay, very good. We have created in this class the variables, the constructors, the getters and setters. We specified the setters as bindable, getters as bindable, and the setters we have notify changed, property changed. Now, step number 5. We are going to create, in the step number 5, we are going to create the main activity presenter. Okay? So, let's, in order to present the data from the getters and setters and the model, to pass them to the main activity and present them into the correct widgets that they are binded to. Okay, so we create a new Java class called main activity presenter, and we specify that it will implement the main activity or main activity contractor. This is a new class that we are going to create. So you can click on it and create it, or Just wait for creating it. Um, copy and project, create a new class called main activity contract. So what will this class mean? This, first of all, it is an interface. So we are going to use the interfaces. Step number 6, creating the contract interface. I hope you specify your problems, your questions, and see if we can help you in your project and in your studies in university, or your projects and your just your hobbies. So we can help you in projects freely. We don't need anything. We just need your support by liking, subscribing, commenting on our YouTube channel, and supporting us, our videos. And if you want to donate, you can buy our course on Udemy, or you can get the source codes freely for $10 using the code below, the coupon below. Okay, the public interface presenter void on show data method. So what this method will get, this method will get the student data as a parameter. So we are creating or passing the student data class as it's an argument, and we are making the public interface view, and we are passing the show data method, passing also the same way the student data model class. Okay, so this interface has two things. First of all, the constructor, and the second is an interface, another interface called view. Now, or this interface will contain the two interfaces, the presenter and the view. The first one contain on show data, and the second one on method. Okay. Here we have to, because we implemented the contract, we need to implement its methods. So on show data, I'm going down to start from zero, the making the step by step the variables, private main activity, contract dot view, and we assign the variables name, view, private, context, and we are going to create a constructor having passing the view and the context for that. Okay, variables and interface. On show data would be view.showData student data. Okay, we close it. Step number 7, adding the code to the main activity. Okay, and displaying them into correct widgets. Don't miss to like, subscribe, and comment below to our YouTube channel, Master Coding, and to get latest tutorials as millions of people that we have learned by using Android, Master Android, and Master Android Pro applications. So we help many people like you. Any question, any tutorial you want us to make, just comment below on YouTube and request it. We can help you and we can inform you with the correct, with the helpful ideas and helpful codes. Now, let's go to the step number 7. Okay, just testing. Okay, we are going to initialize first of all some variables and implements the contractor, the main activity contract, and implement methods and show data, and here we go. Now, activity main binding. This way, this way you are going to initialize and telling you the Android Studio, hey, I am going to use data binding class or data binding architecture component. So activity main binding equal binding util dot set content view this r.layout dot activity main. Please concentrate on this codes in this 2 minutes because they are very important for your to understand data binding. So main activity presenter object new equal new main activity presenter, and we are passing the view and the context as their attributes or arguments. Now, student data, also we are going to specify and create a new object about it, new student data, and we need to pass the string student and the grade student. Okay, this is a string. I'll add them in between quotations. Okay, we have created an object of them, and now let's use that data binding by using binding.setGrader to student data and binding.setPresenter to main activity presenter. In this way, we are specifying the student data as a model for set grader, and the presenter would be passed by using the data binding dot set presenter main activity presenter. So now the showing data would be using this way. String grade, and we are getting the grade from the student data by using student data dot grade, and we are going to show the user the results inside a toast message. Step number 8. Let's run and see our $1 million working applications. We are using very simple methods, and we are learning about data binding, but which is very important, and huge companies and huge applications use it for a development process. So let's see. Okay, execution. Okay, here we go. This is our amazing application. Let's see how it works. I am going to remove this text, and amazing, it's working. Hey guys, it's making the difference. So when I type the content or inside the text view, inside the edit text, the text view would be shown exactly instantaneously. Okay, very good. Show data model by using this another text. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest tutorials free with source codes. Amazing. When the user type on the bottom, also we are getting the same results. Amazing, guys. This is the awesome thing of data binding. When using data binding, remember that you have live data is presented from the text and passed to the text view, and we are getting them by anything from anywhere. In this way, we are using Toast. Thank you, guys. I hope you subscribe, comment below if you have any questions, or just to say thanks. See you next video. Rate us 5 stars on Udemy. See you guys.